Alright, hello. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to replace a AC compressor clutch on a 2005 Avalanche. This also applies to like 90% of the GMT800 Platform trucks. Specifically though, this AC clutch, and I'll have a picture of it right here, it's for this one, right? Because there are a few different versions. So we're going to be doing this one, alright? It's a pretty simple job, right? I'll just go over how to replace it, how to take it off, how to put it back on. Easy stuff. And you know, because I noticed there wasn't very many good videos showing how to do it on YouTube, so I figured, why not me? You know, I think I got it. Yeah, pretty straightforward. Let me show you what tools you'll need. First and foremost, you're going to need your replacement clutch, right? I got this one from A1 Premium, brand spanking new. Comes with your snap rings, your bolt, your washers for spacing, which are very important. And all the bits and bobs you'll need to get this job completed. Yeah, and then we'll move over to the actual tools you need. All right, so these are all the tools you're going to need for this job, give or take. Might change a little throughout the video depending on complications we have. Ignore the horrendous state of this floor. Kind of threw that engine in here and rebuilt it, and it kind of destroyed my floor, but that's besides the point. All right, so what you're going to need for this job: a 10mm socket, whatever flavor of drive, whatever suits your preference. Extension, you might need it. Your ratchet. You're going to need a breaker bar of some sort to remove the belt tension, and sometimes that bolt on the clutch can be a little tight, so helps out. Then, now these are important, right? You're going to need some snap ring pliers. I had to buy these, right? Because I originally, let me pull them out. I originally had this set, right? But what they don't really tell you about this job, these do not open wide enough for the largest snap ring. So yeah, they don't tell you you need a pair that opens quite wide. So I had to go buy these. I bought it at a Northern Tool, you know? So yeah, make sure you have the right kind of snap ring pliers. These unfortunately will not work because they're also too thick to get in the shaft, and you'll see what I'm talking about when we get further into the video. And then I didn't know this part until I messed up my brand new clutch that's on there now, but you don't necessarily need a feeler gauge, right? But there is a certain gap that you need, and I'll go over more where this gap is, but it's 0.020 millimeters. That's the minimum for the tolerance, but like I said, we'll go over that when we get underneath the truck. Speaking of getting underneath the truck, let's go do that, huh?
Alright, so here we are under the truck. Here's our AC compressor right here, as you can see.
I'm going to apologize in advance if the audio quality is terrible, because I'm using a webcam inside my radiator fans to be able to get a good angle of this, and it's using the webcam mic. I'm not bougie. I don't have a lapel mic. Maybe later down the line, but as of right now, this is what we got. I'll put captions in case it's really hard to hear, and if it is hard to hear, I'm sorry.
Alright, so I had to fight with this for a little bit. Let me get the camera in a better angle, huh? So a method I found to be able to get this bolt off: some big ass pliers. Alright, these are some oil filter pliers. Alright, and you just grab onto the thing with all the might you can muster. You just grab onto it and break the bolt loose. I already broke it loose off camera, but the torque isn't super tight. I believe it's like 13 foot-pounds. So once you break it, it shouldn't take too much effort. It's just fighting with your life, which I just did for the past like 10 minutes, to be able to stop this from spinning so I can actually get this bolt off. Sorry for my fat hand being in the way. And there we go. Bolt is out. So now we can move on to our next step. To be able to get this out, a pry bar helps a lot. You just get it under the lip, beat at it a little bit, and she comes right off. Alright. Now we got to get this little snap ring off. Alright. This is where these come in handy. So I'm going to try not to hit the camera while I do this, because I also got to see what I'm doing. But just insert your snap ring pliers as so. Alright, give her a squeeze, and there she goes. Wasn't very pretty, but she's off. Now, once you get that snap ring off, if you're lucky, this just pulls right off. And there's our issue there, huh? Holy! Now we have another snap ring in there. This is where some thin ones come in handy because you don't have a lot of room here. But there's this snap ring down in there we gotta take out. Now, I, for one, cannot see at all what is going on. So I'm gonna try to use the camera to my advantage here. Alright, so got it on there, and as you can see, came right out. I kind of fought for my life there, but there we go. There's our snap ring. Once you got the snap rings off, let me move this transmission cooler line out of the way. You gotta disconnect that electrical connector right there. It's just those two little prongs on the side, but I noticed they can be quite stiff. So if I can find my flathead, which is right behind my head, you can take a little flathead, put it in between these little prongs here, and help you get it out just a little. Just fight with it. It helps to have small hands for this task. I'm not even gonna lie. But once you get it, just pop it out, and there you go. Now, this connector is held on to a bracket. There's a little tab back here. Now, unfortunately, I can't really show this. But you'll see a tab on the back of the connector. You just have to bend it out to get the tooth off. Let's see if I can show you all this. There's a tooth right there. And this metal bracket right here. Let me move the cooler line. So you gotta pull this metal bracket back, right? Once you pull it off that tooth, you push up, and this will get out of the way. Then you just get this wire around, however it's routed, because this is attached to this. And then, once you got your snap ring, everything all fine and dandy, with any luck, this pulls right off. And now, you just want to make sure your snap ring grooves are clean of any debris. I'm just taking a little plastic razor blade here, just making sure there's no schmutz in there. That way our snap ring can sit as flush as possible. And then I'll take a little rag, just clean everything up a little. Make sure we're looking good. Sorry you can't see. Again, terribly tight spot. I'm surprised I even got a camera angle of this. Oh, and hello. we got a spacer left behind. Make sure that doesn't stay in there. We'll take our coil, and the plug is going to go in your 3 o'clock position, right? And you see this little tab right here. It's going to live inside this little groove. That little groove right there. Now, you just want to make sure you actually get it lined up in that groove and it doesn't actually get stuck on one of these teeth here, because that will happen. And then your clearances will be all messed up. So, just get her on there until she sinks in, just like that. Alright? And just make sure your groove, you can feel it. Yep. So, that's how we want her. We gotta install our snap ring. Now, it would behoove of you to not do what I did last time, and to actually get it in a place to where if you gotta replace this again, you can actually reach it. So, I'm gonna do this off camera, because I need both hands and you won't be able to see nothing. But you're just going to stretch the snap ring out and get it in its little seat. Alright? Pretty straightforward. Alright, so once you have this snap ring installed, it's okay to have a little side to side movement like this. Just as long as you don't have a bunch of forward and back movement. But this is normal. So, you just want to ensure it's fully seated in there. So now we're going to route this electrical connector. As you remember, it comes out from the 3 o'clock side. So let's grab our cable and bring it back this way. Now, you just need to get the wire out of the way. And that tooth I was talking about, let's see if I can. This tooth I was talking about, you just need to get it snapped into its little holder, so everything is all fine and dandy. So take your wire, put it underneath that bracket. It's kind of a pain. You're going to bend your wires around. You're going to kind of have a bend in it, which is fine. Then you're just going to slot it into that little tab. There you go. You can move this bracket around a lot, or a little bit. Just don't move it around too much, or you'll go breaking it, and you don't want that to happen. Alright, just make sure you get a click on both sides, and that is reinstalled. So for our belt drive, right, here it is. It just slides on over top like so. Now, when you install this, you want to make sure it spins freely and it's not making contact with the magnetic coil. You'll feel it if it is. It'll feel like, you'll hear it and feel it. It'll feel like it's grinding. So we'll get this snap ring installed. So just make sure your groove or your snap ring is exposed. Open it up. You kind of feel it click into place. And there you go. That is in place. And like I said, you shouldn't have any forward or back movement with this either. And just spin it around, make sure there's no contact with that coil pack behind it. Alright, so my lovely wife is recording this. I'm still under the truck. But to show you this part, you have your spacers. There's a thick one
and 3 really thin ones. Now, for the sake of simplicity, we're just gonna do all 3, all right? So, I found it easiest to put your bolt through. Do your big washer. And your little guys, which are impossible to pick up. Kind of shake the bolt around, get them sitting on there. So it'll look like that. All right, you'll have your 3 washers in there, or sorry, your 4 washers in there, then your bolt. And when you install it, just hold on to your bolt, make sure your washers don't fall out. Don't tip it this way or they'll fall out. All right, on to the last part. So after you get your washers installed, just carefully put this on here. Now remember, this is splined, so you just gotta kind of rotate it until she slides on, like that. So once you have it pressed up firmly, you're good to take your bolt out. Your washers aren't going to go anywhere. Let's put some Loctite on this, right? It has a lot of rotation. Probably vibrates a little bit. You don't want it going nowhere. So get some Loctite on there and screw her down. Now remember, this spins, so this is where I like to take our oil filter wrench, hold on to it, but remember this is your new part, so you don't want to damage it, so just be gentle. Now that you have everything tightened, you're good to go. You should be able to hear your compressor engaging now. Hear that squeaking? Probably not, because this mic's awful. But again, you just want to make sure you have free play here, no forward and back movement, no forward and back movement. And this is where our feeler gauge comes in place. In between this and the belt drive, there's supposed to be a little air gap. You don't want to make in contact, because when this is spinning with the AC disengaged, it'll burn up. So the spec is 20 thousandths. It's in there. Alright, just free play all around. So we're good. We are gapped. Now, it's time to put our belt back on. So just make sure you wrap it around the harmonic balancer. Get it roughly in place. Get everything lined up where it lives. There we go. Once you get it wrapped around there, make sure your grooves are lined up everywhere. Make sure this is good. And we'll put tension back on it. And then you just want to double check. Make sure it's not overlapping anywhere. Yep, we're good there. Double check your harmonic balancer. And you're good. And that ain't going nowhere. Alright. Now, here's a little up top view of what everything looks like, but that is a replaced AC clutch. So now you just want to start it up, make sure everything works. So let's go do that. Alright, so now we fight for our life in these tight quarters. Hop in the truck, fiddle the key around because that's how this truck is. And Yep. Yep, come on. There we go. And start her up. Turn on our AC. And that air feels cold, don't it? So, make sure you got cold air. And just want to double check. Make sure everything looks good. And as you can see, it's spinning away down there. Getting the job done. Then we'll go ahead, we'll go back in the truck. Still got nice cool air. We'll turn off the AC. And yep, clutch is disengaged. So you just want it to run for a little bit. Make sure you don't hear any grinding, any smoke, no fuses pop. Just make sure it's all good, fine and dandy. All right, so job well done, I guess, by some miracle, by the grace of God. We got it replaced, works fine. Let it run for like 10 minutes. No smoke, no stinky smell. Air is still ice cold. I'll take it, especially in this heat. It's too hot not to have AC. So yeah, the tutorial was a little rough. I apologize, it's my first time doing like a mechanic tutorial, so if you guys have ways you think I can improve, leave it in the comments. But yeah, be sure if you enjoyed it, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, whatever you want to do. Doesn't really bother me, but see you in the next one.